Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breeze. Breezeway Productions The Breeze. We bring you the latest in independent films and film festival news, and we're happy to be back once again with an amazing friend of Breezeway Productions, a collaborator and person of Boston and Los Angeles, Josh Mitchell. How are you?
I'm doing great, Alex. Thanks for having me, bud. Fresh off the plane here, so I'm still running on the fumes of Austin, if you will.
Yeah, well, we're happy that you're able to come on the show and take the time to talk with me about it. And so Josh was sent down to Austin to cover the South by Southwest Film Festival, the 2023 edition. I wasn't able to make it, but Josh and a couple of other people were there on the ground checking it out. So this whole conversation is going to be about what it was like in Austin for South by Southwest. So Josh, let's start it off and tell me a little bit about how this journey began.
All right, well, I decided to do the smart thing and go in Thursday night before the festival really kicked off on Friday because I wanted to be able to hit the ground running. And that turned out to be a really smart thing to do because, you know, you go to the convention center and even on Thursday night, the line to get your badge, it's like they're selling, free green tomatoes, And so you go in there and, I met some awesome people right out the gate. That's really the thing about South by is you just got to be fluid. You never know who you're talking to in line, on a shuttle, similar to most festivals, but it seems to ring really true in Austin because it's a little bit more spread out. And so I'm like, okay, let's do this right. What is Austin known for? Live music. So I grabbed that badge and beeline it right over to Rainey Street, where the street is just electric. It welcomes me in. And, one of the big sayings is that, for people that don't know about Rainey Street. So Rainey Street is a residential street where they turned homes into bars and restaurants, which is, I don't know if anywhere else in the United States that sort of does that. It's really cool. And the big complaint or thing that you can't miss is there's a lot of construction going on. The gentrification of Rainey was a hot topic. It's not what it used to be. Yeah. And, we say that about Boston. You go to the Seaport District, you can't see where we threw the tea in and everything. Back in the day, well, I didn't throw the tea in, I would have drank it. But, I still think it was charming. And the difference between seeing bands in Austin is, you go to some cities and the bands are going to be okay. Pretty much everybody is next level. So I had a blast listening to this wonderful band at the Parlor Room, which is in the middle. They did some amazing covers, some amazing original stuff. It did start to sprinkle a little bit. And that's when they're like, we got to get out of here. The show's over. Grab the PA. And it turned out just to be a little sprinkle, but I don't think they wanted to ruin their sound system on not even the first night.
Yeah.
So I had a blast there. I actually grabbed some amazing shawarma, the gyro. They do this cool thing on Rainey where all the food trucks are in like a horseshoe. And so you go down there and there's so much different cuisine you can choose from. And it's not your typical food truck stuff either. These are real chefs that probably should have their own brick and mortar. But that tends to be a really cool and economical way to get some delicious food.
And so you hit the ground running, you had good food. There was a lot of people. I believe that you told me that there was over 300,000 people that were in Austin for South by. So the crowds were very big. And full disclosure, both Josh and I did attend the South by Southwest Festival in 2015 or 2016, way back when Silicon Valley was the big show that was being promoted down there on the ground. And since then, you've been talking about the construction. It's changed so much. And but the music is still vibrant, the food is still great. And we were there this year to cover some movies or to talk about movies. So we were working with Amazon in regards to their pop-up that they had, Amazon Prime. And I know you went over there to check it out. You want to touch base on that?
Sure. Yeah. Amazon Prime was probably one of the bigger activations at the festival. And it was a celebration of all Amazon's biggest shows. They're trying to get everybody excited. It was based on Lower Congress at the Hotel San Jose, which is a really innovative and sexy venue. And it was really put together. It was probably one of the more organized, more shiny events I got to go to. And so what it did was they dedicated several rooms to each shows that they have. So there was one for Harlem with Forrest Whitaker. You would walk in and, I guess there's a floral theme to that show. And so it was cool. You would take some photos, you would get to just kind of frolic about, and the big one is Daisy and the Six. That's really a musical sort of biopic type piece. And that was everywhere. And I was able to fool around on a cool soundboard. They gave out some amazing nail polish that I was able to bring back and swag up my lovely lady. And the DJ was next level. They had the food was great. They started off with some great Texas chips and salsa, and they hit you with some great margaritas and a real open space. So It was really a blessing being the press, because I can imagine the activations there, the amount of people going through there throughout was probably really powerful.
Yeah, Daisy and the Six, speaking about it, I was reading in the Hollywood Reporter that this is going to be a big breakthrough role for Camilla Morone, whom we had the fortune of interviewing at the Hamptons Film Festival a while ago. So they did a whole write-up on her being a part of that show. So that name has come up a couple of times, and I've seen some of the pictures that were done at the pop-up, which looked really great. So Amazon, as you said, put on a clinic at South by for that pop-up. And then one of the other pop-ups that we talked about was the Yellow Jackets pop-up. Maybe you can reflect on that one a little bit.
Wow, that one was great too. So Showtime really brought out all the stomps on that one, because they, again, at a really cool venue, a little outside of 6th Street, which is a pleasant regard after you've dominated Dirty Six for a while. It's good to get out and go to a spot off, that maybe everybody doesn't know about. So you go in there and it's just, wow, they were doing axe throwing. And, you get some good snacks at some of the events. This was next level. They had a gourmet chef grabbing steaks off the grill and cutting gourmet prime rib steaks and just duking you with them right there. I was like, ooh, I could be a regular here, and overall branding was just great. Everybody's excited for season 2. And even the cast of the show is a little worried, like, can we do this again? Because the show is just so unique. And yeah, they gave you beautiful like rope wristbands that kind of like a souvenir. A lot of people are clamoring for them, to be honest. I've been contacted saying, was there any other great swag? So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And to piggyback on that, another great activation was the Swarm show, Donald Glover's new show that's going to be making a big splash off the heels of Atlanta. They walked me through, and I got to actually sit on the car that is going to really play center stage in the show. It's one of the inciting incidents that occurs. So yeah, I get great photos of me in the car. They bring you into this mock grocery store, and they give you a bloody $5 bill. And they say, hey, spend it. And you're able to buy chips, soda. I ended up mistakenly grabbing a beef jerky that was part of the props. And I went to sort of check out with that. And they gave me a no-go, which it was on me. But yeah, I'm excited to see that show. Obviously, it's going to have a great soundtrack. And he partnered with a pretty talented person. So I'm excited to see how that unfolds.
Nice. So it sounds like there's a lot of great activations, food beyond belief, amazing branding and marketing for all of these shows. But we're also talking about the festival for the movies. So we were down there, and I know that there was a lot of carpets and premieres and films that were being screened. Are there any films that stuck out to you as impactful films that were in the programming this year?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's several, but I had the pleasure of attending the premiere of The New Americans, which is a powerful documentary that sort of puts us inside a video game, which, scary that maybe this is the way it's going to go. So it featured sort of a real detailed take on the blockchain world, on day traders. We all remember that whole thing that happened with GameStop, right? Is it GameStop?
Yeah. GameStop.
GameStop. Yeah. So wow, this film was wild. It's a action-packed doc held at the Paramount Theater, same place where Everything and Everywhere All at Once premiered a year ago. So that was really historic to be sitting in those same seats. And South by was cool to do a little tip of the hat to them before, because this was on Monday, so after the Oscars. Wow. So that was great. I felt really warm just being inside there and knowing what was going to come for the Daniels after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully this film gets a buyer. I think it's perfect for streaming. And yeah, it was like sensory overload. And a tremendous premiere right after a party where everybody gathered and were able to sort of frolic about. And that was right across the street at Higher Ground, which is a nice local spot on Congress Street. Yeah. And yeah, I'm still kind of like taking it all in. It's if you don't know about that stuff, if you don't know what an NFT is, non-fungible token, by the way, thank you. You know, it's stuff like that. You educate yourself on, like, I didn't know about diamond hands. Diamond hands is a term where you basically get a hold on. You're never going to let go of that stock, whether it goes high or low. So you learn some amazing stuff. I was savvy enough to be able to attend the premiere of Black Barbie, which is a documentary made by one of our producers, Milan, was on that. So that was great. That's going to be a really powerful film as well.
Join or Die, I know it. Yeah. We were talking about that. We were talking about Join or Die, which was on the South by virtual platform that I was able to check out. I thought that.
Oh man, let me tell you about that. Thank you for reminding me on that one. So, you know, you make these decisions with our action-packed schedules, right? You have to clone yourself to be to have any of these events. So I wake up Sunday morning, I decide, you know what? I'm going to make the pilgrimage. I stayed over by the lake over at the beautiful Holiday Inn, and one of the oldest hotels at the lake house. It was just you know, no flash, but you know, steps from Rainy, can walk the lake in the morning, beautiful little Mexican authentic burrito spot next door. So anyways, I'm like, all right, I'm going to Join or Die. I'm going to check out this event, Bowling with Bob. And so I subscribe to the notion what Bob is basically saying, which is we should all belong to civic groups. You know, he believes that depression happens because, you know, during all the madness, we lost that sort of community. Now, meaning we should be in a book club. We should be in an intramural softball team. We should, you know, anything that's sort of social. And that's what he celebrates. And, you know, he wrote a book that was called Bowling Alone. That would have been a good title too for the film, you know. Join or Die is a little similar, Funny or Die, right, for me. But anyways, so I'm the first one there. I show up for the event. This old German bowling alley right outside the skirts of the University of Texas. So this place has been around since the 1900s. Couldn't have found a better venue to celebrate the premiere, right? I mean, this is what Bob was doing. So Bob shows up, 83-year-old Bob and his lovely wife, Rosemary. And I get to meet them and I say, wow, is this the key to longevity? Is it being active? Is it, you know, the idea of people with projects are happy? Is it constantly trying to find, like for instance, I remember you recently, you've taken up some cooking. You grabbed some amazing cookbooks and you've sort of started to spread your wings in the kitchen. So, you know, I mean, well, you're a good example of it. I'll tell you, a guy that travels to Norway, you know, you got your hand in many pots. So Bob would be proud of you. Let's put it that way.
Well, I believe that life is just one great adventure. So, you know, we have a wide world to see. So I wasn't able to make it down to South by because I was just coming back from a trip that was international, and the tightness of my schedule just didn't make it work. But Josh did take the plunge. There's a lot of great films, as we've talked about, and that there were activations as well. And so we'll kind of simmer it down towards the end also that it is known for its music. So South by is tech, music, politics, film, startups, innovation, all of that, panels. It's just a giant activity fest, and it's still going on until the 19th. And I know that there was one event you went to, the Lush House. You want to talk a little bit about the Lush House?
Yeah, Lush House was great. So it's a cosmetic company, and it was in the middle of Rainy Street, and I didn't really know what to expect with it, right? But so you'd walk in, and they released a lot of new products, and so it was these cocoa butter moisturizers, but they were shaped in really fun lightning bolts and whatever. And so I got the chance to try some on my little ashy hands, you know, from being dry out in the wild Texas sun. And it's cool. You know, I was a little sparkly, I will admit, but I think Austin's based on being weird, right?
Yes.
So Lush was great. They really welcomed in their badge owners. You know, drinks were flowing. There was a whole diversity of great performers that would take the Lush stage. And yeah, it was a great place to kind of go in and out, and really well run, and really just fun. And so, yeah, that was one of the highlights, I think. And I'd also say, so Paramount did a really cool thing at the Clive Bar, and that was right across the street. And then again, they were celebrating our Paramount Plus's latest and greatest. So that was a 2-floor situation where I got to take some old vintage photos from, one of my favorite shows of the year, 1923.
Oh, cool.
Taylor Sheridan.
Mhm.
So that's one I'm going to probably put on the mantelpiece.
Nice. Well, it sounds like South by was just a giant rager fest, as I remember it fondly, and they continue to really bring down the house in Austin. In closing, do you have any final thoughts on South by? Anything else that stuck out to you that you wanted to mention to our viewers that happened while you were there at the festival?
I just got to say, it was an action-packed blast. And just to be fluid, meaning like, the best moments were when you weren't really trying to do anything. You're just kind of dwelling, and someone comes up to you and pulls you into an event, or ironically, you end up meeting somebody from Boston. You see someone's hat and you start talking. And, I do got to give a tip of the hat to my friends Molly and Gerald, who came in and added a great energy and really embraced the whole wildness of Texas. And we kind of got off the grid a little bit and were able to go to just some local places and let our hair down and get a break from the festival for a while. So
awesome.
It was great. It was a great platform. None better for innovators, filmmakers, and the thinkers of tomorrow to come together and hopefully make something great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending the time talking with me about it today. Josh Mitchell, a great friend of Breezeway, producing partner, has hosted for us as well, and now the man on the ground in Austin. Also representative, if you're looking for PR, Wickid Pissa Publicity has taught me everything I know since way back in the day. So definitely give him a shout, look him up, and I want to thank you for coming on The Breeze to talk about your experience on behalf of Breezeway Productions at South by Southwest at this edition in 2023. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Alex.